Chosen ones, it's time to celebrate. You've passed the source's test without even realizing it. This is the moment your soul has been crying out for. The ground beneath us is alive with potential, echoing with the sound of your well-earned victories. You've doubted your path and your worth countless times, but now there's an undeniable spark in the air, a signal that you've overcome a hidden trial. Hold your head high and feel that surge of triumph rising within you. This isn't just relief. It's a revolution within your spirit, a summons to the unstoppable force of your awakening. You didn't push through all those sleepless nights and questioning days for no reason. Your heartbeat pounding in your chest is a signal, urging you to roar with a new, unshakable bravery. If you're ready to harness this powerful energy and take the next step in your evolution, then like this message, subscribe and comment 77 to let the universe know you're open to the transformation that's about to pour into your life. Chapter 1. The Secret Test That Just Ended. Chosen ones, the truth is that you've been under a test for a while now. It was subtle, like a quiet current beneath the surface of your daily life. You might have sensed certain challenges lining up in a row, unexpected trials that picked at your resolve, moments of meltdown when watchers seemed to circle overhead, illusions that blared doubts in your mind at every step. You kept pushing forward, not realizing a divine exam was unfolding in real time, and you aced it without even knowing. This test revealed the raw core of who you really are. No flashy announcements, no dramatic banners, just a steady series of events that force you to confront negativity and dethrone it, to snap out of old illusions that once dictated your self-image. At first, it felt like an endless barrage, a meltdown that left you gasping for breath. Even so, deep within, you clung to a spark that refused to die out. You found your synergy in tiny moments of grace, a phone call that arrived in the nick of time, a stranger's kind word that reminded you not to give up. That synergy was not a coincidence. It was source-dropping hints that you were being tested, measured, and refined. You had watchers lurking unseen, hoping you'd buckle under pressure. They thrived on illusions, feeding you narratives that said your goals were impossible and your worth was questionable. Each time you stood your ground despite the swirl of doubt, the watchers trembled. Bit by bit, your resilience grew, unmasking the illusions for the hollow threats they truly were. The meltdown moments, far from being your downfall, turned into stepping stones, each one boosting you higher than before. Then a quiet shift occurred. The illusions began to lose their power. Even if they attempted to creep back in, you recognized them for what they were: thinly veiled lies. You realized negativity had lost its crown, dethroned by your choice to keep going, to keep believing. This was the victory lap you didn't even realize you were on. What once felt like random adversity was a strategic gauntlet designed to test the very essence of your faith, your determination, and your authenticity. Now, as you breathe in the reality of what you've overcome, you can see the test's purpose with fresh eyes. Source wasn't punishing you. God was drawing out the champion hidden beneath your skies. Each challenge you conquered acted as proof that you were stronger than the Watcher's illusions. In surviving and then thriving, you unknowingly aced every question asked of your spirit. The exam is over, chosen ones, and you passed with flying colors. Feel the surge of validation in your bones. That unspoken test is behind you, and it has catapulted you into a higher plane of existence, prime for the next wave of miracles. Chapter 2. Breaking Free from Illusions. Chosen ones, illusions can wrap themselves around your mind like a thick fog. They whisper that you're too flawed, too late, too small to make a dent in the world. These illusions appear convincing, especially in moments when negativity tries to resurface or old patterns threaten to pull you back into mediocrity. Yet something changed within you during this test you unknowingly passed. Each time illusions hammered at you, you felt a subtle inner pushback, a voice inside that said, "That's not the whole truth." For a while, you may not have recognized this voice as anything extraordinary, but in reality, it was the echo of Source reminding you that illusions hold no real power unless you hand it over. You might have felt shaky in the face of adversity, but you never folded completely. You kept pressing on, recentering yourself after each stumble. Slowly, illusions lost their eye and grip. The watchers saw this and realized their usual tactics. Fear, self-doubt, envy were failing to corrode your spirit. As you reflect, consider how many times the meltdown tried to sabotage you, moments when everything felt like it was collapsing. Yet each meltdown phase ended with you standing again, albeit a bit bruised but never destroyed. That resilience was the key. Illusions count on you staying down once you're hit. Instead, he rose, and in rising, he chipped away at the illusion's facade. Negativity, which once loomed like a gargantuan shadow, began to shrink before your eyes. You recognized patterns that didn't serve your growth. Habits, mental loops, draining relationships. The synergy of this divine test was orchestrated so that each time illusions attempted a comeback, he gained clarity on what needed to change. Whether that meant letting go of certain influences or adopting new habits that align with your awakened consciousness, the illusion stood no chance against your evolving perspective. In the quiet aftermath, you realized illusions are empty shells, projections of the watcher's intent to keep you bound. But you'd long since dethroned negativity. You'd shattered the illusions with the unwavering decision to believe in your worth and potential. You became a magnet for small miracles, for chance encounters that push you forward, for bursts of insight that guided your steps when logic faltered. Those were not random occurrences. They were God's confirmation that illusions can't bind a soul that's determined to see beyond the surface. This chapter of your life is a testament to your liberation. Illusions fade like morning mist when confronted with the light of truth, and now you stand free of those old shackles, eyes wide open, ready to claim what's rightfully yours. This freedom is more than a feeling. It's a daily reality. Each new day is another opportunity to stare illusions in the face and laugh at their powerlessness. Source has shown you that illusions only exist to test your resolve, and you have proven beyond a doubt that your resolve is forged of something far stronger than fear. Chapter 3, How Negativity Lost Its Crown. Chosen ones, negativity once wore a crown in your life, parading around as though it were the ultimate truth. It fueled every insecurity, magnified each failure, and painted your future in the bleakest tones. It was a low hum in the background, an ever-present force that held you back from dreaming too big or stepping too boldly. Then suddenly something shifted. Negativity found itself dethroned, stripped of the power it had long enjoyed. This didn't happen through a single dramatic gesture. It happened gradually. Each small, defiant act of faith chipped away at negativity's influence. Maybe you decided to say yes to an opportunity, even though a voice in your head screamed that you'd fail. Perhaps you started surrounding yourself with people who saw the best in you, rather than those who thrived on tearing you down. You might have taken up a practice, prayer, meditation, journaling, that reconnected you with Source each day, reminding you that negativity's claims on your life were built on lies. As these shifts stacked up, negativity's throne began to wobble. The meltdown periods where watchers tried to push you over the edge backfired. Instead of succumbing to despair, you discovered an inner reservoir of courage. You dared to envision a future unchained by the illusions negativity spun. And with each fresh act of hope, you hammered another nail into negativity's coffin. When negativity realized it was losing its grip, it tried to roar louder. It sometimes amplified your mistakes or replayed your worst failures on a loop. But you'd already tasted freedom. You'd seen how illusions crumbled the moment you questioned illegitimacy. And you recognized that negativity itself was just another illusion, a big menacing mass that crumbled under sustained light and love. That's when a remarkable synergy kicked in. The more you refused negativity's narrative, the more you attracted allies and circumstances that reinforced your newfound perspective. A friend called just when you were about to give in to dark thoughts. A stranger's uplifting story arrived in your social feed exactly when you needed a sign. God's hand became more evident, guiding you through these subtle but profound confirmations. So negativity lost its crown, not because it stepped down willingly, but because he tore it off piece by piece each time he chose faith over despair. This dethronement was part of Source's test. Could you hold fast to a higher truth when the watchers surrounded you with illusions of doom? Could you rise above the meltdown instead of drowning in it? You showed that you could. You not only stripped negativity of its false authority, you replaced it with a steadfast conviction that your life is governed by divine design, not by random or malevolent forces. Now, as you walk in this new reality, you'll find that negativity tries to stage occasional rebellions, but you've mastered the art of casting it aside. You know the meltdown moments aren't defeats, but transitions, closing one chapter and opening another, each page telling a story of a chosen one who refused to be ruled by illusions. With negativity dethroned, your path is clearer than ever, a testament to the unstoppable power of your awakened spirit. Chapter 4. The Meltdown That Proved Your Strength. Chosen ones, let's talk about the meltdown. The moment, or moments, when it felt like your world was fracturing under an impossible weight. Maybe it came in the form of a crushing disappointment, a betrayal, a sudden loss, or a spiral of self-doubt. Whatever shape it took, that meltdown felt like a final straw. But here's the truth. That meltdown revealed your true capacity. It was never meant to destroy you. It was part of Source's grand exam to prove just how unbreakable you are. Think back to the rawness of it. The Watchers hovered nearby, feeding illusions that you were at your end. Negativity, still clinging to its tattered crown, seized the chance to paint your meltdown as the ultimate failure. Yet even when you were at your lowest, a flicker of defiance refused to die. You might have cried out in frustration or heartbreak, feeling like the universe had abandoned you. But through those tears, you discovered a seed of hope. That seed is what guided you out of the meltdown, step by painstaking step. What you couldn't see then was how synergy, divine alignment, was quietly orchestrating a way forward. Random calls of support from a friend, a sudden encounter with an inspirational story, or a nudge to try something new. These weren't coincidences. They were clues, small gifts from God, letting you know you were still on track. Each clue reminded you that the meltdown was an opportunity to break free of illusions, that negativity's hold was weakening, and that Watchers couldn't keep you pinned down if you refused to surrender. In the sake of it, though, it didn't feel heroic. It felt like a battle for every breath. But you fought that battle, and you won. You emerged a little scarred, but far from defeated. In fact, your meltdown became a forge, heating you until the impurities fell away, and only the iron of your spirit remained. The illusions that once seemed so formidable looked laughably small once you reclaimed your power. The Watchers realized they'd miscalculated your resilience. Negativity tried to rebound, but each meltdown test had only strengthened your shield. This is the hidden storyline behind every meltdown you've endured. You were never a victim of random chaos. You were an examinee in God's training ground, learning to master the energy of your own soul. When you finally grasped that, illusions lost their sting. You saw meltdown moments for what they truly are, portals to a deeper level of consciousness, forcing you to drop outdated beliefs and push past your comfort zone. So remember, chosen ones, the meltdown isn't a sign you're losing. It's a sign that you're on the verge of a breakthrough. Each meltdown is a final attempt by illusions and Watchers to keep you stuck. But you've proven, multiple times over, that meltdown is a stepping stone, not a dead end. Each time you confront the rebel, pick yourself up and continue forward, you reaffirm your place in this cosmic design, forging a path that illusions cannot block and negativity cannot reclaim. Chapter 5. How Synergy Rushed to Your Aid. Chosen ones, synergy is the hidden force that slides open doors you didn't know existed. It lines up events, people, and resources so precisely that it looks like magic. But it's more than magic. It's the evidence of a God who orchestrates every detail when your heart aligns with truth. You experience synergy each time you felt cornered in your meltdown, only to have an unexpected lifeline appear. Remember those random moments of perfect timing. The stranger you met in the grocery line who mentioned a solution to your biggest obstacle. The dream that clarified your next step. The sudden wave of inspiration that guided you out of despair. That was synergy in motion. It can't be forced and it can't be faked. It's a natural outcome of standing firm in faith, dethroning negativity and rejecting illusions. Once you claim your rightful identity as a chosen one, synergy becomes your silent partner. weaving opportunities into your path when logic says they shouldn't exist. The Watchers hate synergy. They thrive on chaos and fear. But synergy is order and hope. Whenever synergy shows up, Watchers scramble to sabotage it. They try to fling illusions your way, to make you doubt these coincidences, to label them as fleeting luck. Don't fall for it. You've witnessed how synergy can upend even the worst meltdown. You've seen it redirect your life in the blink of an eye, sometimes through the simplest of actions. A courageous yes, a bold conversation, or even a well-timed text message. You didn't summon synergy by forcing your will on the universe. You summoned it by aligning your heart with God's design, letting go of illusions about who you should be, and standing in the truth of who you are. Synergy is the cosmic applause for passing Source's test. The moment you proved your authenticity and refused to be ruled by watchers or illusions, synergy recognized you as a worthy partner in the dance of creation. It's not an occasional occurrence either. Once synergy takes root in your life, it tends to show up more frequently. You notice patterns you never saw before. You sense an inner nudge when you're about to make a choice that could unlock the next miracle. Or in contrast, you feel a subtle resistance telling you to wait or take a different route. That's synergy directing the flow. It's a living relationship, one that grows stronger the more you trust it. Chosen ones, synergy is a gift tailored for you, a sacred language between your soul and source. It holds the power to transform a meltdown into a triumph, to turn illusions on their head, and to confirm over and over that negativity is dethroned. Each time synergy intervenes, watchers lose a little more ground, cursing the fact that they can't manipulate a person who's awake to divine orchestration. Keep recognizing synergy and celebrating it when it shows up. Doing so only increases its momentum, weaving more of heaven's blueprint into your everyday life. Chapter 6. Watchers in Retreat. Chosen ones, the watchers are pulling back, and they're not pleased. Once they found it easy to sow doubt, cloak your perception in illusions, and turn meltdowns into opportunities to erode your faith. Those days have passed. You've weathered too many storms and found the synergy connecting it all. That knowledge alone strips watchers of their chief weapon, your ignorance of your own power. Take a look around. Notice old draining patterns fading away. Relationships powered by negativity have either ended or transformed dramatically. People who once fed your insecurities have grown silent or stepped back. These clues reveal that watchers are losing their hold, retreating to the periphery of your life in hopes of finding a vulnerable spot. But you're not who you once were. You know watchers for what they are, cosmic opportunists feasting on your vulnerability. Now you recognize their tactics, coincidences that strain credibility, illusions coaxing you back into old fears, subtle negativity trying to sow doubt. Their efforts only sharpened your discernment. You brushed them off like stray cobwebs. Your brawls didn't come cheaply. It took meltdown after meltdown to hone your spiritual instincts. You had to dethrone negativity, see through illusions, and trust synergy, despite the Watcher's warnings. Yet every time Watchers tried to isolate you or bury you under despair, you emerged stronger, more convinced of God's guidance in your life. Aware now that you're a chosen one who's passed Source's test, the Watchers shift from blatant assault to subtle sabotage. But your senses are heightened. Any hint of negativity sets off alarms, and you quickly expose it. You're careful with your energy, aware that illusions can resurface if you drop your guard. It's not paranoia, it's vigilance. Listening to your intuition and letting synergy confirm your steps. As Watchers retreat, new blessings flow in. Authentic opportunities for growth, genuine bonds, and practical support now appear, helping you step fully into your purpose without the interference you once battled. You see how meltdown phases served as training grounds, taught you how to hold on to faith even when adversity stormed all around. These lessons became the foundation that keeps the Watchers from reclaiming what they've lost. Though they may still linger, waiting for a moment to strike again, do not be afraid. Each time you rise in this renewed strength, every time you walk in alignment with synergy's guidance, you fortify your inner stronghold against deception. God is not a passive observer. Divine power flows through your life like an unbreakable shield. The Watchers may circle, But the throne within you is no longer empty. You now sit upon it fully, prepared for whatever comes next. Chapter 7. The celebration begins. Chosen ones, let your spirit burst into joy. Even if your outer world hasn't caught up yet, you've already earned this celebration. You passed the source's test, often without even realizing it. The illusions that once clouded your mind have lifted like mist at sunrise. Negativity, stripped of its power, no longer reigns over you. The watchers retreat, silenced by the strength of your unwavering faith. Synergy, that relentless divine force, is drawing you into a life where dreams and purpose merge. This isn't a quiet, subtle moment. It's a victorious roar rising from the depths of your being. Think back to the times you almost gave up, to the breakdowns that threatened your fire. Yet you endured, your heart burning with unshakable determination. Every challenge you faced became a doorway to the divine strength flowing through your veins. You answered the call, not in perfection, but in persistence, becoming living proof of God's design and intention. Now take a look around. Gifts are beginning to show up on your path. Doors swing open before you even knock. Genuine allies arrive without hidden agendas. Your intuition lights the way like a beacon in the dark. These are not mere coincidences. They're divine confirmations, reminders that you've entered a higher level of awareness. Yes, challenges will still appear. The watchers might return with new disguises. Illusions may creep back in different forms. Meltdowns could knock again, but this time you'll face them with a knowing smile. You've passed through the fire, and your faith is no longer breakable. You've seen what synergy can do. When a chosen one refuses to bend to fear, that power becomes permanent. Your identity and endurance are no longer in question. They are deeply rooted. So rejoice boldly. Your spirit already dances in victory. Let your mind and body join the celebration. You've formed an unshakable connection with the divine. The watchers can only observe now. Illusions may try to put on a show, but you see right through them. Negativity holds no ground. Synergy drives your momentum. And the breakdowns of the past, they've become chapters of triumph in your unfolding legacy. Carry this celebration into tomorrow. Each new day brings greater awakenings, new challenges, and more chances to activate the power within you. Source smiles upon your rise. The universe eagerly watches your next step. And this victory, it's just the beginning of everything you were born to reveal.